Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Whiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Whiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in 15 minutes to build your business. And today our guest is Maryann Candito. She helps women activate and awaken their divine feminine power so that they can rise up with confidence, transform their world with passion and heart, thus helping to raise the consciousness of the planet. Maryann became an intuitive healer and spirit mentor due to her own personal challenges. Welcome, Maryann. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hi, it's nice to be here, Cindy. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's definitely our pleasure. I'm really excited to speak to you today. I know you have a great message to share with our audience. And to begin with, can you share a personal or business challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
So for me, I always knew I had to help. I didn't know how or what that looked like, So I started off as a massage therapist and eventually trained in the energy healing like Reiki, Marma point, aromatherapy, cranial sacral. But then body work, I kind of got burnt out on body work. So then I moved into coaching and just expanded my practice to EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. And then I got tuned in to the Akashic records, and I had been hearing it. It was like one of those things where you hear it once and then you're curious and you say, I wonder what that's about. And then you start seeing it everywhere and hearing it all over. And I knew that that was where I needed to train. That's where I needed to go. So that has just totally fulfilled me and has brought me closer to my soul's purpose. So I think my biggest challenge was really honing in what it was. And I didn't experience the success or the prosperity that I had desired, just being a coach and healer and that, because I wasn't tapped into my soul's purpose, not completely. I mean, sure, it was general, right? I was helping people in some capacity. But most of us, we don't always know, well, what's our soul purpose? What does that mean? Well, and prosperity, when we think of prosperity, we think of money. But prosperity is wrapped up with our purpose and fulfillment. It's not just the money piece. And it's success as well. So that level of success that you want to achieve. So it wasn't until I started honing in and getting really sharp on my soul purpose. And that's a lot of what I do. I help people with their prosperity and purpose and really tune in. Because as you know, with law of attraction, it doesn't always work. So you got to wonder, well, I'm all aligned. Why isn't this working for me, right? It's like I'm doing everything right. I feel it. I see it. But what happens is your soul overrides your conscious mind because you may not actually be doing what your soul came here to do. And so for me, it wasn't until I got zoned in to what my purpose was. And then I started noticing opportunities coming my way. I started noticing these shifts, little things I'd noticed, even big things. It was like the world started opening up more and more.
You'd mentioned Akashic records.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our listeners may not know what Akashic records are. So can you explain what Akashic records are?
Sure. So the Akashic records is like a library. And what it is, it's the library of everything your soul has experienced, thought, felt, did throughout its eternity. So we basically go into your records with your approval. We go in and we connect with your guides who help us to interpret what your records are telling you. You come with a question, a specific question, and then we can extract that from those records.
Right. I love that. And also you was speaking about your soul's purpose and really how everything with your soul's purpose aligns with prosperity, abundance, and success. So what steps, if somebody comes to you and they're like, I just have no idea what my soul's purpose is, how do you help them?
We would go into their records. We would have a session where we'd look into and ask their guides, and we'd begin to explore. And usually the guides are pretty forthcoming. What I've noticed is they don't necessarily like to tell you what to do because we all have free will, but they will indicate, and sometimes in a general way or sometimes very specific. It depends, because it depends on the guide. When we connect, it's with your guides, not mine. So it's each the individual person's guides, which makes it interesting because the readings are always different. So they'll explore and they'll tell you what you came here to do. It may not be as specific, but sometimes it is. But what they do is they begin to give you that light, and then you can explore what you enjoy in that realm. And sometimes that's all you need, right, to discover it on your own.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important to enjoy what it is. Whatever your soul purpose is, you're going to enjoy it.
Right. That's important. Yeah. We have to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And so how does this help, let's say, even with the prosperity? What if somebody says, hey, my soul's purpose is to feed all the homeless people. So how's this going to help my pocketbook?
Right. Well, just because you have a sole purpose of something that may not on the surface look like it's going to make you money, that doesn't mean it's not your sole purpose. You might have something else and money comes to you in a different way, because it's the fulfillment piece that really has to happen. And there are millions of people on the planet that are here to help share the light and expand our consciousness and to help us raise the consciousness level. So not all of us are doing it as a career, as a job, but we can do it in another way like that if we so choose.
And so if your soul's purpose isn't your direct path to prosperity, to financial prosperity,
Okay.
what are some things that people should do? How can just keep asking their guides, or
Right.
how do they go about digging deeper? Like, okay, well, I really love doing this. Like you had said that, you knew you wanted to help people. I've always, almost every job I've had, I've helped people.
Right.
And I worked in social services for almost 20 years. And even though I had that fulfillment, quote unquote, of helping people, I still knew that wasn't my soul's purpose.
Right.
It didn't give me that joy and the excitement that I was really craving in my soul. So how can somebody tap into that?
So, for everybody, it's different. And like I was talking about prosperity being money, success, purpose, and fulfillment. Now, let's take that example of feeding the homeless, right? Well, that may be that fulfillment piece for them. That might be that purpose piece for them. But like you said, we're not making money with it. Mm-hmm. But what if that person would train other nonprofits on how to do what she's doing, right? So there's different ways to monetize if you so choose. Some people actually like having a 9-to-5 job, so they have that security. Some people are really strong on security. It's their need, it's their makeup. So they don't want their soul's purpose to be with their job, and they're okay with that. I'm not, you're probably not, but there are some people that are. So this is how they create their prosperity. And it may not come directly from what they're doing, but energy is energy. And if you're out there helping and giving, it's coming back to you in other ways. So you may get a promotion at your job. You might, get donations, people helping you. You might get noticed. Oh, we want you to write this book. We don't know, right? It comes in unlimited ways. So it's still tied into that. And it's important to look at how we're designed, and to go with the flow rather than against the flow.
So I know you recently wrote a book, Maryann. Can you tell us the name of it and tell us a little bit about it and how it came to be?
Ignite Your Feminine Power, Inspiration to Rise Up and Change the World. So for me, I've been seeing that as much as women, we have come a long way, but yet it's that underlining patriarchy, the system, the gender bias that goes on subconsciously, and we're seeing it show up in laws. We're seeing it show up even in our own minds, how we see the world and how the world sees women. And we've come a long way, but we have more to go, and we can't stop. We can't be complacent. So I saw that. I'm like, I really got to talk about this. And then, I tie in the divine feminine, the archetypes, because that's part of my purpose is helping women tap in to their inner power. And the divine feminine archetypes, the 7 sacred sisters, the goddess, the healer, the queen, the lover, the warrioress, the wise woman, and the priestess. And we have those powers within us. So we harness them, we ignite them when we need to. But I find a lot of times we don't even know we have this certain power or strength or courage or confidence that we need for things, but it's in us. And that book is helping to share that and help women see all these other women. I use other women as examples as how they harness their power and things like that. So hopefully it inspires. That's the point of it.
Now, do you find that it's more women that are really searching for their soul's purpose via men?
Oh yeah, the book is pretty much designed for women, but men can read it too, because maybe they'll get a little better understanding from a woman's perspective.
And so most of your clientele, are they mostly women, or do you also help men?
Yeah, I'll help men, yes, but mostly women. Yeah, mostly women.
And so tapping back in, you was talking about the, the feminine power and the goddess of the lover and the other archetypes. How does that fit in or tie in even with the Akashic records? If somebody's working with you to find their soul's purpose and they're on their journey, how do they tie in these different spiritual wisdoms?
Usually, so with the divine feminine, it's about how to transform something. So what do I need to manifest, or what do I need to turn this situation around, to transform the situation? Mm-hmm. So it's like, who do I need to be, right? Like, who do I need to be a business success, with my business, right? I might have to harness that warrioress and be fearless and be strong and, face my fears. Right? You're putting yourself out there as a women entrepreneur. We are using our warriors a lot of times. And for some of us, for many of us, it's not a natural thing for us to be a warrioress. A lot of times we're more lover or goddess or queen, where we're very maternal and nurturing. So to harness that warrioress part of us can be really challenging. So I help them to harness and activate whatever it is that maybe doesn't come natural to them. So we can do that while in the records as well.
Mm-hmm. And so assessing the records really helps you to grow and be who it is that you're meant to be, so that you can fulfill your soul's purpose and really have prosperity and abundance in all areas of your life, not just monetary.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And earlier also you had started talking about the law of attraction. And so how do you fit in the law of attraction with your other spiritual modalities?
Energy is really important, and the guides will talk about that too. I've had many a reading with guides for myself and for others, where they talk about law of attraction techniques in order to shift something in someone's life. So energy is really important, but it's also to understand that the soul has its idea too. So your soul came here for a reason. So to just know that and understand that, but energy is a very, very important part of the whole process, and to teach law of attraction techniques to help you on your path. It always helps, no matter what.
Now, do you find that if something is your soul's purpose, that you're just naturally going to be attracted to whatever that is?
Not necessarily, because we still have to work for things. I mean, we have this idea that we're going to have the support of nature and everything's going to just come to us really fast. Or you see people and you think, wow, they were an overnight success. But what we don't see is all the years that they weren't an overnight success, right? Where they're discovering who they are and discovering their strengths and their talents and trying to figure out how to put it all together, right? So we don't see all that behind the scenes. So when we think of that, I used to think, oh, well, I'm getting support in nature. Must be what I'm supposed to do, or I'm not getting support in nature. I think sometimes we look too much into that. And I think we need to just look at, are we seeing the evidence, even if it's small? How are we feeling through the process? Like, are we feeling the shifts inside? Because then, we're going to see it outside. We're going to see it in our world. So not necessarily just because we're involved in it. It's sometimes there's different steps along the journey that have to be experienced, or that we at our soul level want to experience.
Right. And do you believe that everybody only has one soul's purpose, or can we have more than one soul purpose in our lifetime?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can have many, many in our lifetime. There can be that big one. Sometimes it's a timeline thing. Like maybe your purpose for your first 30 years was to raise children and nurture them and to help guide them to be heart-centered people, right? And so we have them different timelines as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so I think that's so important to know, because some people, they're always looking for their soul's purpose, thinking there's that one thing, when really there can be many. And I would assume you could even have more than one at the same time.
Oh, sure. Right. Exactly. So.
Mm-hmm. And Maryann, can you share a strategy with our listeners that they can implement in 15 minutes or less to build their business?
Yes, and this strategy I have seen work for me more times than I can count. And it sounds counterintuitive, but do it anyway. So for 15 minutes a day, take time away from all your strategizing, all your work, all your busy work, all your clients. Take 15 minutes to create and play. So what I mean by that is paint, create whatever it is you like to create. Dive into your hobby, whatever your hobby is, if you have one. So create color in a mandala, write a poem, whatever it is. Create a product for your business, but just have fun with it, because you're just going to create something in your mind on paper to create. And don't even think about anything else but that creative process. And I tell you, this is activating the goddess in you. When you can play and create, you're activating the goddess. And that's so important, because you want to step away from all the focus on my work and the goals, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that, all that left brain stuff. The left brain gets in the way and it clunks up your energy. So you want to step away and just create and play and have fun. Do it for more than 15 minutes if you have time. But do it. You're going to see little things shift in your world. I promise.
And so you're talking about creating, just because you said like going to a hobby. Now, my hobby, I absolutely love this, and it's what I do a lot, is I'm very into genealogy. But I'm not seeing where I'm creating anything whenever I'm researching my genealogy.
Right.
So,
I know, I get that. So see if that works for you. I mean, dive into that, and that may be perfect for you because it's play for you. But there is a thing about creativity that uses a different part of the brain that really helps us tap into universal consciousness. And if you can also incorporate that somehow, I don't know how you could do it, maybe, but, I think that to try to incorporate some part of creativity, but you can try that first and see if you're noticing any little things shifting. Every time I do it, I get new clients signing up. I usually do it once a week. I should do it every day. But I usually see like new clients coming in for readings that aren't even on my list, so I don't even know who they are. And this happens every week. And I've just been creating products for my Etsy store, and just brand new store. But I'm like, I'm going to create this, put this on a mug, and that sort of thing, and getting in that creative headspace. And things are like shifting and shifting. It's really fun too, and you deserve that fun. That fun.
I do know, even for myself, it's like creating. I'm per se creative, like as far as writing, and I know I'm always creating for my business. But back in June, it was my birthday, and my daughter took me to a wine and paint place. And it was the first time I'd ever painted anything. But I noticed a shift again right after that, because I was creating and playing. And like you said, it uses a different type of your mind.
Yes.
And then last week, I went to Oklahoma to visit my sister and niece with my daughter, too. And so my niece threw together a little paint party. So we painted again. And I was like, this is really cool. Something so different that I never in my life would have thought that I could ever do. Is just paint a picture.
Right.
But it definitely tapped into a different part of my brain that I hadn't never used before. So I think that's what's so important with the creative process, is tapping into that brain that's just sort of became stagnant.
Exactly. Yep. It does wonders. And you are tapping in to another part of the universe too, and activating that goddess within you. And we need that. So.
I like that. Like that a lot. And Maryann, I know that you have a gift for our listeners. Can you share what it is?
Yeah, it's the Blocks to Brilliance Chakra Meditation. So you can just download it, and where you're going to supply the link, right? And it'll really help to clear your chakras, to balance you, to help move you through going from any blocks you might have that you don't realize you have to brilliance. It's going to help clear those chakras and put you on a different level of experience. So.
And most of our listeners probably know what a chakra is, but can you explain the chakras and how they get blocked and why it's important to clear them?
And they're the energy centers of our body, from the crown, the third eye, the throat, that goes down. And stress creates havoc on our body, on our energy system, impurities in the air, the food, emotions, toxic emotions, and stress. So, we're human. We're spirit, but we're in human form. So we're bound to get out of balance and out of whack every now and then. So this really helps to center you, and this will help to clear and balance those chakras.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that the chakra balancing is something people should do every day, because it really helps you keep you energetically aligned too.
Right.
To yourself and to the world and the collective consciousness and to your clients and everybody else. So I believe that chakra clearing is so very important, just for your own well-being, and reduces your stress level. So many benefits to it. So I really thank you for offering that meditation to us, Maryann. And to our listeners, what you want to do is head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Maryann. That's all lowercase, MARYANN. Biz, B-I-Z, success in, IN 15, the number 15.com/Maryann. And grab your own Blocks to Brilliance chakra clearing meditation and start using it, and start watching how magic happens. You start feeling better. You start feeling more energetic and more aligned. So Maryann, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Thank you for being here, and honor yourself, honor your spirit, and take care of yourself. That's really important too, because we get so busy and we burn the candle at both ends, but it's so important to harness that queen energy and take care of you, not just others, but to take care of you, and do self-care, meditate, and do something fun and create like the goddess.
Love that. Thank you very much, Maryann. It's been a pleasure having you as a guest today.
Thank you. Same here.
So to our listeners, you want to hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Maryann, all lowercase, MARYANN, and you're going to find all links from today's show. You'll be able to re-listen to Maryann's words of wisdom, catch up on past episodes that you might have missed. And while you're there, be sure to grab your Blocks to Brilliance chakra clearing meditation. And there's also going to be a link there to her book. You definitely want to grab her book so that you can align with your own 7 archetypes and really grow your business the way you want to grow it. And so with that, I hope you tune in next week with another amazing guest. Big hugs. Have a great day.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.